Alright, second half of Chapter 7. And if you've been keeping up with these videos, I will point out, and I'll apologize at the moment, as I'm recording these for the second half of Chapter 7, it is Friday, June 26th, 2020. Yes, I'm doing these over the summer so that they're available to us all year long. The city has decided they needed to do some work on the alley behind my house, and that includes running a gas-powered something or other, saw, jackhammer, something very loud and noisy. I have closed myself off as best I can. Some of that noise may still leak into the recording. So long as you don't have the volume turned way up, though, you should be okay. So, Chapter 7, Lesson 5, Polynomials. If we happen to get to Chapter 13 of Pre-Algebra, this will be review. So, a monomial is a number, a variable, or a product of a number and variables. So a number would be like 3, 2/3, 15.3. A variable would be like x, y, z, a. And a product of a number and variable would be something like 2x, 3a squared b, 4cd. Okay, those are all monomials. What would cause something to not be a monomial is to have a square root, to have an exponent that is not a whole number, and to have a variable in a denominator. Okay. The degree of a monomial is the sum of the exponents of the variables. So numbers contribute nothing, but variables, letters, whatever their exponent is, gets added to make the degree. Remember that if there is no written exponent, it's an invisible 1. A polynomial is the sum or difference of monomials. So it's it's two or more monomials that have plus or minus signs in between. Okay, the degree of a polynomial is the degree of the highest monomial. So in a polynomial that has multiple terms, we will find the degree of each term, and the biggest one of those is the degree of the entire polynomial. The standard form of a polynomial is when you put the terms in order from largest to smallest degree. So biggest exponents total to smallest exponents total, and if there are any numbers, they'll be on the end. And a leading coefficient is the coefficient or the multiplier of the first term of a polynomial that is written in standard form. So, examples. Classify each as a monomial or polynomial. Identify the degree. If it's a polynomial, and it's not already, put it in standard form. And identify the leading coefficient. So that's a lot. So, monomial or polynomial? Monomial means no addition or subtraction. Polynomial means there's addition and subtraction. So the first example here, negative 2a squared b to the fourth. That's a negative sign. It's not adding or subtracting anything, so this doesn't have addition or subtraction. This is a monomial. And we're just going to go through and answer this one question for all 6 of these. For the next one, 4x minus 19x to the fifth. Minus. That's a polynomial. 8y. No adding or subtracting. That's a monomial. 0.5x squared y plus 0.25y plus 0.75. Plus. That's not what I'm trying to write. Because there are plus signs, this is a polynomial. 4, the number. No adding or subtracting, it's a monomial. And 6x to the fourth plus 9x squared minus x plus 3. I said plus and minus several times. That's a polynomial. Next up, identify the degree of each. Okay, so the degree is the sum, addition, of the exponents of the variables. So let's do the monomials first. Here we have an a squared and a b to the fourth. So the a has an exponent of 2, b has an exponent of 4. 2 plus 4 is 6. The degree of that is 6. I'm going to skip the polynomials for a minute. 8y, the variable is y. Its coefficient is 8. I don't know why I said that. Its exponent is an invisible 1, which means it has a degree of 1. And 4, a number by itself, has no variable. No variable means degree 0. Now for the polynomials, what we got to do is do the degree of each individual term and then pick the biggest. So for the top, middle, 4x minus 19x to the fifth, 4x has a degree of 1. 19x to the fifth has a degree of 5, which means the degree of the whole thing is 5. We just pick the bigger one. For the guy down here on the left, 0.5 x squared y, so on and so on. The 0.5 x squared y term, x has a 2, y has an invisible 1, 2 plus 1 is 3. 0.25y, y has an invisible 1. 0.75 is a number, so its degree is 0. The biggest of those is 3, so its degree is 3. And my last one, 6x to the fourth, well, that's a 4. 9x squared, that's a 2. Minus x, that's an invisible 1. And 3 is a number, so its degree is 0. Putting all that together, the degree is the biggest of those, so 4. If it is a polynomial, so we're done with the 3 monomials. If it is a polynomial, write it in standard form. Okay, so I'm going to change the color of my pen again. This top one is not in standard form, because standard form says the highest degree goes first and on down. The highest degree term is the 19x to the fifth. So it has to come first, and that minus sign does stick with it. So minus 19x to the fifth is first, and that 4x moves over. That is standard form. The other 2 polynomials are already in standard form, because when you look at the degrees, 310 is in order from biggest to smallest, and 4210 is in order from biggest to smallest. So those are fine. All that's left is the leading coefficient, which is the multiplier of the first term. So this top guy, his multiplier is negative 19. Bottom left, his multiplier is 0.5. And bottom right, his leading multiplier is 6. So there are some examples of a little bit of everything. Monomials, polynomials, doing degrees, looking at standard form, and identifying the leading coefficient, which in standard form is literally just the first thing. Now, we classify these things, okay, based on the degree and the number of terms. If the degree is 0, it's a number. The name for a number is a constant. If the degree is 1, it's linear. Degree 2 is quadratic. Degree 3 is cubic. Degree 4 is quartic. Degree 5 is quintic. And after that, we just start using 6th degree, 7th degree, 8th degree, so on and so on. As far as the terms go, if there's just a single term, no plus or minus sign, it's a monomial. If there are 2 terms, it's a binomial. If there are 3 terms, it is a trinomial. And if there are 4 or more terms, we just start saying polynomial. We do not use prefixes after tri. So you're also going to be asked to classify in this section. So, without the chart, although you should still be able to look at yours, classify these. So we need to know the number of terms and the degree. So this first thing has 2 terms and a degree 1. Okay. Those are the two terms. I just boxed them. And as far as the degree goes, 5x has a degree of 1, and the number has a degree of 0. 1 is bigger than 0. So how would we classify this? What would we call it? Okay, it is a linear. Degree 1 is linear. Two terms, binomial. This is a linear binomial. Next example. This has 3 terms, and its degree is 2. That makes this a quadratic, because of the degree 2, trinomial. Okay, and we do always label the degree term first, term second. So it's always going to be, so monomial, binomial, trinomial, polynomial will always be the second word. Linear, quadratic, cubic, quartic, quintic, whatever degree will always be first. This last one has 4 terms, and its biggest exponent is 7. So this is a 7th degree, because remember, after 5, we just start saying the numberth degree. So 7th degree polynomial. 4 or more terms get classified polynomial.